Hey everybody, Swish here, back after about 2 months. Um, Lent ended 2 weeks ago by the time this video was filmed, and I actually got sick literally right after Lent. So I didn't film anything, and was, as most of you know from my previous video, was completely gave up YouTube for Lent, was deciding if I was going to continue. Still not sure at this point what's going to happen. But I just wanted to start off by saying being off YouTube and completely removing it from my phone and just being enamored in the real world was so good. You really do realize how much just scrolling through YouTube, making YouTube videos, doing all these things affects your time. You know, even the of coming home from work and sitting down, and how incredibly easy it is to just pull out your phone and just start scrolling versus getting up and doing other things. And I found that sometimes it's really good to just be bored, because it really sparks your creativity, versus having YouTube kind of takes that away. Well, if you're bored, well, you can just bust out your phone and scroll through YouTube or whatever social media you have. I don't have any other social media. I don't have Facebook, Instagram, or anything. So, and by the way, I'm still a little coarse, still getting over being sick, so I'm going to do a lot of that. I apologize up front. And this video is going to cover a range of topics because it's been so long, and I'm just going to cover some things that I just kind of noticed. And, coming off of Lent, being off of YouTube was good. And I was really, for the first few days, I didn't even, after it was over and Easter passed, I still didn't get on. I was like, I'm just going to wait, because I was afraid I would overindulge or try to make up for lost time. To everyone out there, I'm sorry if I haven't gone over your old videos. That's for 2 months. I would lose my mind. So, if it comes across my feed on the off chance I'm even scrolling, hey, I'll take a look at it. But I'm not going to go back and review endless amounts of videos. Well, not endless, but 2 months worth of everyone I'm subscribed to, and just because that would just be nuts. But I was glad to do it, and it really made me rethink certain things. And I found that sitting around the house going, I think that needs fixed, or that, or this needs to be done, or I would just get up and just go outside, or my son, I played with him much more and did things a lot more with him. I watched movies that I hadn't seen in a long time. I could go on and on, but it was very fruitful. And I was also able to use the time. My wife and I got much more closer, during that time. At least I felt that happened. 7-Up helps my throat. I should have some tea next. But I like the fizz. So anyway, but I'm back, and not sure how back I'm gonna be. I really did enjoy being off. So I'm not gonna be so enamored in YouTube as I was before. It really made me think about my life, and YouTube is a good thing, guys. I'm not trying to say. Obviously, I'm here on it. It can be a good thing, I said. Not necessarily that it is, but it can be. YouTube has been great because I've been able to network and meet new people. So there's been a lot of positive things. However, for me, I found prior to Lent, I was getting too into it to where, I wouldn't pay attention to my family. And I was like, boy, Lent is a really good time to just do a hard reset. And so that's what I did. But I'm glad I did it. And maybe I'll do it again next year. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it again for the fun of it. I don't know. Anyway, so still unpredictable times, but moving on to the next topic, something that came today in the mail that I wanted to share with you guys, and that is the Citizens Manual number 11, Bushcraft for Minutemen. I don't don't know if you guys can see that. This is a really good reflective, but see if I can. The reflecting of the camera is in there, but I have already read this entire book today. I took my son to a laser tag place, and he gets unlimited play, and I just sat there and just was engrossed in it. I've been waiting for this. This is author of this one is Jay Plarty, Jay Modern Minuteman. You guys, a lot of you know who he is, and I in my opinion, this is his best work that he's done. He's done a couple of the other manuals, the adverse conditions. I have another one up there. Goodness, it slipped my mind. I'm sorry, but this is his best work, and because it really, really breaks down what I believe as being Minutemen. It's not just about the tactical. Being in the military, you ran out of supplies. You just radio in for supply, water, ammunition. But being a Minuteman in this day and age, you have to be more self-reliant. You have to rely more on the land. So bushcraft is a thing, is going to be a thing for you if you're going to get into this. So you have to get into the more survival bushcraft. And this is the other one. The adverse conditions is about surviving. This one's about thriving, and it has so many good things: rooms for notes, proper ways to purify water, cool little emergency plans. I'm not going to give away too much. I think you guys should get it. It's on the Professional Citizens website. It's on Amazon. I'm not going to post a link because I don't want YouTube to try to take this video down thinking I'm trying to sell something. They've been doing that to a lot of the guys lately. But it's just packed with, making a trench toilet, traps, how to purify water, how to set up shelters, using the land, and using modern equipment, using knots, my goodness, firecraft. And it has these really cool challenges at the end of each one for you to try if you have not done. Some of them I've done. I thought it was pretty good. But Jay, if you're watching, this is really good. I literally finished the book today. And the cool thing about it was it's a manual. So it's not necessarily like a read-through book, but for some reason I just did. But you can use it as a manual. The table of contents is good. If you want to go to something, it's right here. Chapter 1 is surviving versus thriving. Tools and equipment, fire, water, shelter, rope work, food, cooking, hygiene. That's one that not a lot of people cover, is hygiene. Putting it all together. It's so good. And it's not terribly long. It's basic to the point. I wouldn't say basic. I'd say there's a lot of advanced stuff in here. But it's to the point, and it's told from the perspective of someone who has never done it before. I really like how he broke that down. So if you're experienced, I still say get this, because there's a lot of things I never tried that. But you might read it and go, well, I already know how to do that. Well, you have to understand this is designed for people who are getting into this, but it's designed for both, actually, and for people who have been into this and maybe want a refresher or things that you might not have known. So good on you, Jay. This is cool, and this is going to be I'm going to keep this one close to me, because I really, really like this one. And anyway, sweet. Thanks, Jay. Amazon, the Prepared Citizens, the Professional Citizen Project's website, and Amazon. You can go get it there. I bought this thing on Thursday when it went live, and it came today, so it came pretty quick. That's what she said. But that's bad. Anyway. Good job, Jay. Good job to all the guys, all the authors in this group. They gave me a little sticker. I put it on my cigar humidor. So, or it's a Tupper door, if you will. All right, next subject. Iran, Trump, the Pope. My goodness. Where to start on that? I'm not going to touch on everything because it's crazy. I think I think what we're doing in Iran and all that stuff is unjust. It's an unjust war. I think that we should just. I reject Zionism and dispensationalism. It'd be one thing if Iran just started bombing Israel and Israel was an ally and said, "Can you help us?" Yeah, I might see a justification there, but no. I'm a very devout Roman Catholic, and I agree with Pope Leo about what he said. A lot of people think he's anti-war. I think he's just anti-unjust war. And the reality is, we should always avoid war anyway. We should never. That's not. It's not who we should be. You should always want to try for peace and stuff. And so I agree with Pope Leo. And the thing was, he wasn't even attacking Trump, but Trump took it so wrong. You have to understand about being a pope when he gives these things. Everything that's written down is planned like way before, to which Pope Leo, even today, at the time of this video, said that. It's like, I don't know why he's thinking I'm targeting him. This was weeks before all this happened. So, but I think this is... there's a lot in Scripture about separating the I can never remember the word, the bad stuff from the wheat. Trump also posted this weird photo of him looking like Jesus, and then took it down and said, "I thought it was like I was like a doctor." And I'm like, okay, I'd have more respect for you if you just owned up to it and said, "Look, I was wrong." But so many people are siding with him. Sean Hannity's like, "I'm not going to be a Catholic anymore," which just goes to show you he probably never really was, because he's, I voted for Trump, but I think the fact that I voted for him makes me, gives me the right to be even more critical of him. Like, I voted for you, and this is not what I voted for. I don't regret my vote. I don't think anybody should, whoever they voted for. But, at the end of the day, God is eternal. Presidents and countries are not, and I'm going to stick with the church and pray for the president on that end, But to go to war to go get in a feud with someone who's not even a politician. The Pope is not a politician, and politics isn't his thing. Preaching the gospel is. So I'm not sure why. To call him weak and to call him all these things, it's like, do you know who you're talking to? You're talking to the successor of Peter, the vicar of Christ. I mean, like, what are you going to do, Mr. President? Nothing, Anyway, it's crazy times we're living in, and I don't want my children going over there, I heard the Army is about to raise the enlistment age to like 42 or something, 43, and all these people who are just kind of warmongering. It's like, well, why don't you go? Some of you are in your late 30s and 40s, like guys like Ben Shapiro and stuff, and all those other people who are like, yeah, we support this. We need to, guys, look. Modern day Israel is not biblical Israel. It's not. And what happened in the Holocaust was a travesty. I agree with that. It doesn't give the Jewish people the right to do whatever they want. And me being against what they're doing does not make me anti-Semitical. I don't know why people think that because you're Jewish that you just get a free pass to do whatever you want. And don't. And I don't know why everyone think, like, look, I agree. The Holocaust was horrible. What happened to them was horrible. But that was almost 100 years ago. 80 years ago. Not saying that we should just put it in the past, but what I'm saying is, when I was in Germany, I met a Jewish Holocaust survivor in Baumholder. This guy was huge pro-America. And the first time I met him, he found out I was a soldier. Dude kneeled down and tried to kiss my hand. It was really weird. He was an older gentleman. If anybody who's been to Baumholder, Germany, knows who this guy is. And he actually passed away not too long ago. Like, well, it was quite a while, but about 10 plus years ago, I think. And it gave me a perspective, But so I agree. But what they're doing, what Israel is doing, thinking that they're entitled to something, and I believe that everybody has a right to be a country, to have their own, country. I'm fine with that. But you're doing it wrong, So, and Vice President J.D. Vance, who claims to be a Catholic, not standing up for the Holy Father, to me is ridiculous. But I guess he wants to keep his job. What shall it profit a man should he gain the whole world only to lose his soul? What does it profit a man should he gain the whole world only to lose his soul? But interesting times we're living in. Interesting times. And I don't know. What's become of this country? And I think we need to pray for the soldiers. I wonder how many soldiers who are there who don't want to be there. Their families are. It's just it's crazy to think about. But I think a lot of people are doing this because they think we got to protect Israel because they think it's biblical Israel and it's not, and or it could be about oil. Who knows? I don't claim to know everything, guys. I don't. I get on my phone. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I researched it on my phone, therefore I'm an expert. Whatever it's about, it's unjust. That's my opinion. And even if I wasn't Catholic, I'd still say the same thing. Just putting that out. A lot of people might say, well, you're Catholic. Of course you're going to side with Pope and everything. Well, yeah, of course. He's the Holy Father. But even if I wasn't, I still agree with him in this matter. Like, what is so wrong with praying for peace and praying that this conflict ends quickly? You should want that for any war. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't prepare and learn how to fight and learn those skills. But the saying is true, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. But I don't want war. I don't want to do those things. I train for it, and yes, I'll admit, as a soldier who has been to combat, there's a sense of because your adrenaline's pumping, your endorphins are through the roof, and that sends it becomes kind of pleasureful, if you will. Not necessarily what you're doing, because when you go home, you have to deal with the aftermath. But that doesn't mean that. So don't confuse it with that. And I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, and I apologize for that. But I want to just kind of touch on that. And it's really just insane what's happening here. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you guys think. But that's pretty much it. And to get back to original, glad to be back. Don't know how many videos I'll do. I don't necessarily have like a set. I don't do one like every week or anything like that. It might be a couple months before I post a new one. I don't know. My family comes first. My church comes first. My family, I got a job, full-time job. But if an opportunity presents itself, I might film something, I'll try to watch some videos out there for you guys, but as far as I'm concerned, it was a good thing to step away from YouTube and realize and enjoy what life was like pre-internet, because I was not on any social media, aside from the fact that work, I had to use the internet because that's just how jobs are. But for the most part, when I got home, I would watch a movie or something like that, but I would not, it challenged me. It really challenged, and it really made us realize how we are. I mean, the Eagles said it best. We are all just prisoners here of our own device. But learn to free yourselves up from it a little bit. And that's pretty much all I got to say. And please go pick up Jay's book. You will not regret it. It's, in my opinion, the best one out of the whole series. No offense to the other authors, but this is awesome. And hope you guys all have a good one. I guess I'll just see you on the next one. Swish out.